Hello and welcome back to Off the Post. In today's episode, I'll be discussing what's next for Liverpool after Mohamed Salah announces he's leaving at the end of the season. But before that, as always, please like, comment, and subscribe. It's very much appreciated, and it goes along with helping me build a small community on my channel. We've recently just hit 300 subscribers. We've gone under my target after all this time, after all these months of asking. And I just want to say a massive thank you for all the recent support on our most recent episodes, all the likes and the comments on social media as well. Definitely going to notice. And yeah, I just want to say a massive thank you really for hitting 300 subscribers. My next goal has got to be at least 350, 400. Let's go and smash that as well. Maybe even 500. Can we go and do it? Aye, aye, aye. I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that at all. But yeah, let's get straight into the episode, shall we? Mohamed Salah has announced that he's leaving Liverpool at the end of the season. And this news doesn't really come much as a shock to me, just because he hasn't really performed in that this season. He hasn't really been playing that many games. He's only started 34 games in total, scored 10 goals in all competitions, and I want to say got 2 assists as well. So from that point of view, he hasn't really been doing that much consistently on a consistent basis compared to last season, at least anyways. This time last season, he would have had at least 15, 20 plus goals, and it does really show the decline of Mohamed Salah in a Liverpool shirt. It's really unfortunate because, in an era where, he was outperforming everybody in a Liverpool shirt. He was the best player for at least, I want to say, 7 or 8 years in the Premier League, wasn't he? He was outshining everybody. He was having seasons where he was scoring 30, 40 plus goals, helping Liverpool win the league, helping them win the Champions League. He was being outstanding. He was the main driving force behind that team, wasn't he? And now it's a little bit unfortunate because there's only a few players left from that Jurgen Klopp era, okay? In the likes of Alisson, Virgil van Dijk, Andrew Robinson as well. Well, it depends, he might be leaving as well next season. There's been a lot of rumours about him. For me, just quickly, if it was on a side note, okay, just on those two, who's next to be out walking out the door out of those three? For me, of course, it's going to be the left back, but who's more important out of Alisson and Virgil van Dijk? I probably want to say Virgil van Dijk because there's going to be a bigger drop off from centre back position if he leaves compared to the goalkeeper position, because the Georgian goalkeeper, Mandashvili, probably said his name wrong. I feel like he can probably come in and almost fit into that team quicker than a centre back would come into Liverpool's state team. But anyways, moving it back over to Mohamed Salah just quickly. For me, what a fantastic player he's been, what a fantastic servant to Liverpool, to the Reds, to the Premier League. Honestly, like I just mentioned a minute ago, he's been one of the best players in Premier League history. Okay, he'll go down in that all-time 11 if you like. There's arguments with him and Cristiano Ronaldo to make it on that right wing position. For me, it's always a tricky one when you talk about those two players because Cristiano Ronaldo, he's an exceptional player. He's a world class player. He's one of the best. He's probably top two in the world, okay, for what he's done in the sport. And he's probably more exciting to watch, isn't he? Especially when he's at Manchester United. The flicks, the tricks, the skills, the free kicks, the ability to beat his man, score goals as well. It's fantastic. When you bring it over to Mohamed Salah now, conversation around him, he's more effective. He's more. He gets more. He gets more goals, he gets more assists probably than a Cristiano Ronaldo. He's done it more for the longevity of the sport, of the Premier League as well. So from that point of view, it's always a tricky one because he's done it longer in the Premier League than Ronaldo has, but he's not as silky on the eye, is he? He's just a little bit less, skills wise. There's not really any skills there. He's just more efficient, isn't he? And there's nothing wrong with that for a player. But when you look at the eye test, Ronaldo will always be better than Mohamed Salah for that conversation, anyways. But for Liverpool fans, he'll go down for them as a living legend, won't he? Honestly, he's one of the main players that I've seen in my lifetime that's come in and lit up the Premier League. Don't get me wrong, when he first joined from Roma for like 30 million, I didn't think he was going to be this good, honestly. I know that might be a little bit of an understatement, okay? Or I feel like a lot of people probably would have thought that have that same thought process. But having like 30 goals, 40 goal season, to help Liverpool win 2 league titles, to help them win a Champions League, absolutely exceptional. Score 255 goals as well to make himself third on the list of all-time scorers for Liverpool. Absolutely fantastic. The Egyptian winger, okay, he's got a massive, massive ceiling in. He's got a massive, massive reputation for Egypt, doesn't he? And yes, he hasn't had a great time in the African Cup of Nations and whatnot, getting to like I want to say quarterfinals, semi-finals. Not really being able to win a African Cup of Nations for Egypt was a little bit disappointing from that point of view. But because he's got such a big reputation, wherever he ends up now, maybe in like a Saudi league, for example, you know I reckon a Saudi league team will come in straight away for him in the summer transfer window just because of what he brings. Can he still do it in Europe? I feel like he could. Could he do it for a big team in La Liga, around Madrid or Barcelona? I'm not too sure. Probably not Barcelona because of Lamine Yamal. Maybe Real Madrid, but I can't really see Lem signing him. At the age of 30 foot, I want to say what 33, 34. He's probably a little bit too old to take a gamble on him for that price tag. They probably will expect the high amount of money he probably want, the high amount of wages that he probably want. I reckon a Saudi League team or an MLS team will probably best suit him down to the ground. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below how you feel about Mohamed Salah leaving at the end of the season. Is this the best for all parties? Just because he hasn't really played that much this season, has he? He's only played, 34 games, I'm pretty sure, in all competitions. And from that point of view, only getting 10 goals, 9 assists, was it? Oh, I said too earlier, so my bad about that. But, 19 goal contributions, it isn't terrible, but compared to what he did for last season and the season before that, he would have had way more. It just goes to show it's a new era for Liverpool, either with Arne Slot or without Arne Slot, okay? And I feel like this decision would happen either way, with a new manager or with the same manager, just because I think it's the right thing to do for Liverpool. And when we think about, I think it's the right thing to do for Liverpool because he's been sitting on the bench for the majority of the season, and that's your best player in the team. Okay, Mohamed Salah has been the best player in your team for the last 7 or 8 years, like I've just mentioned. So if he's sort of sitting there, he won't want to sit on the bench, will he? He'll want to start every single game. He want to get you goals, get you assists, and he want to fire you up the table. But it just hasn't worked this season. Liverpool are in 5th place, okay, this season. They've been absolutely terrible. When we did our season predictions, okay, I was backing them to go and get, back-to-back Premier League titles, but they just haven't done that, have they? They've been terrible this season. They've been awful. And I think it does go to show there's a new era for Liverpool now, isn't there? Because, the summer transfer business was a little bit weird. They went out and signed the ready-made players straight away. They signed the players on the cusp of world-class talent, if you like, okay, in the likes of Hugo TK, Flavian Wirtz, all these different players, Frimpong, all these sort of players, they're on the cusp of being world-class. They're either world-class talents or they're going to reach it in 1 or 2 years at least, anyways, I believe. If you put it in the perspective of like Liverpool's transfer business, they've always gone out and signed, the sort of hidden gems, if you like, in world football. Okay, they've gone out and signed those players that nobody would know them about. That would know about them at least, anyways, and they would make them into either good Premier League players or world class Premier League players. In the likes of Philip Coutinho, Roberto Firmino, Mane, Salah. All these different players, Jordan Henderson, he was a world class player. Gigi Wijnaldum, all these players, Jurgen Klopp made them better. They made them world class talent, okay, in the Premier League. That's why they've won. That's why they've competed for all these years. That's why they've won so many trophies. Premier League, Champions League. I'll go back to it again. That's why they've done it. So maybe they need to go back to that sort of transfer routine where they're going out and finding those hidden gems rather than ready-made talent like they did this summer. It didn't really work out, did it? Buying Alexander Isak, buying Flavian Wirtz, buying Hugo TK, buying Frimpong, who are all on the verge of becoming world-class players. Well, they probably should have become world-class players this season, but they just haven't, have they, for whatever reason. I think Liverpool spending 500 million this summer. I thought they was going to just go up and up and up, but it just completely backfired and went on a downhill spiral. So from that point of view, when we think about what's next for Liverpool, who do they replace Mohamed Salah with? Maybe it's a Michael Olise from Bayern Munich. He's on the verge of becoming world class. He's doing some fantastic stuff in the Bundesliga at the moment, isn't he? In the Champions League as well. Scoring some great goals, assisting the likes of Harry Kane and all these different types of players, Musiala as well. He's got some good link-up play. And if you want to come back to the Premier League, maybe that might be the case. We'll never know, of course. But I feel like Liverpool probably would be the best destination for him. I don't know if I'm right and wrong in saying this. He might be a Liverpool fan, so I think I did read that online. So we'll have to wait and see. if that is the case. But then again, you're going to be spending at least, I want to say, 80 plus million on a Michael Olise. You just will be, just because of how fantastic he is. He's on the verge of becoming a world class player, and is that what Liverpool need? I don't know. Maybe you could have looked someone more towards like a Ryan at Bournemouth. That Brazilian forward at the moment. He's looking on the verge of a world class talent as well. Don't get me wrong. He's got the age on his side compared to Michael Olise, so that might be a little bit more appealing to Liverpool. We'll probably get a few more years out of him, but again, that'll probably cost you the likes of, I want to say, 50, 60 million to at least try and sign him. He's only been there 6 months, so I don't know if that's realistic or not either, or if it's just completely somebody different or we don't even know about, that the scouting team at Liverpool have sort of identified to replace him, that we just don't know. But yeah, let's end the video with some questions. Okay, how do you feel about Mohamed Salah leaving at the end of the season? Does he go down as a Liverpool legend? You know, what went wrong for Mohamed Salah this season? He's only scored 10 goals, got 9 assists. Is it the best solution for all parties that he's going, and it sort of helps out him. It sort of helps out the player and the team as well. We don't have to worry about almost upsetting him or making sure that he's feeling good or whatnot. There is a bit of bit of black there, but and yeah, what's next for Liverpool? Do they sign a Michael Olise? Do they sign a Ryan from Bournemouth? That's just one that I've thought of, or is it just like a hidden gem from the world of football that we don't even know about yet? And yeah, before that, as always, please like, comment, and subscribe. It's very much appreciated. Goes along with helping me build a small community on my channel. We've recently just hit 300 subscribers. Can't believe we've done my target. Absolutely over the moon with that. Thank you so much, guys. My next target is 500 subscribers. Let's do that, okay? Can we get us 200 subscribers more? 200 more subscribers. And yeah, just want to say a massive thank you really for all the support. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.